Okay, so I just shared the link on Slack. You can visit that later. Because I need my two hands for typing. So let's see. Can people in the back hear me? That good? Okay. Cool. So I wanted to start with explaining what we're gonna do today, and also what are the objectives for tonight's lesson. One is, yep. This is all on Canvas. Actually, let me just give you a tour. If you go to Canvas, you can find the calendar on here, and then the lesson materials you will always find under the day. So today is the 24th. Now there is this event at 7 p.m. Command line lesson and intro. Here there are four links. Two to the lesson material, a brief history of JavaScript and its capabilities that we're going to talk about after we see the command line, and then some problem sets for you to practice and that we're going to do in groups tonight. Okay, so who here? I want to start kind of with a conversation. Who here could actually? Let me just ask you this: how do we talk to computers? How do we interact with computers? Anyone wants to take a shot? In general. Yep, Ganesh. You use the mouse and keyboard. Okay. So can somebody expand on that? Douglas. GUI. Cool. Yes, that is actually a keyword. GUI, graphical user interface, and that is all that we see on our computers basically. Everything that's graphic, and the graphic GUI again stands for graphical user interface. Interface is a word that we're going to be hearing a lot today. And can somebody define that for me? What interface means in general? Yeah. Deja. The looks. Yeah, that will be the graphical part. Michael? I think a good word there is translation. Good word.
I was going to say how we communicate directly.
Right, I think you all have the right idea. An interface will be like a bridge that connects two things. One is the computer and the other one is you, right? You're the user. Okay, now what we're going to learn today is the command line interface. So we know that the interface will be that bridge. Command line will be, we type some keywords on our computer. The computer understands and interprets that and does stuff. Cool. So one thing that I want to emphasize is that anything that we do through the graphical user interface, we could also do through the command line interface. Now, let me show you what the command line interface looks like. On your computers, open your terminals. If you don't know what the terminal is, ask the person next to you. Cool? Sorry? That's correct, yeah.
So if you're having difficulty, just raise your hand and I'll help you.
Thank you, Jar. Yes. Yes. So your command line interface is also known as the terminal, and is something like this. You have something like this, which is a green, black, or white screen, and you can type stuff here. You can type anything. Is everyone on the terminal or the command line interface? Cool? Okay. Now, I said that we can, anything that we do through the graphical user interface, which will be like opening a new tab here, or opening a folder, we could do it through the command line interface. So let's try to do that. There's one command. I think the Linux users will try another one, but the Mac users can try open and then period. And that should have opened something. The Linux users, those of you that are natively on Ubuntu, you could try Nautilus, period. It's not going to work on Mac because Nautilus is not a program that I have installed. Oh, yes, that's correct. Nautilus, like this. And space and period. Did everyone get this other window that popped up? I kind of get a lot of zoom on here. This. Everyone got the other window? Okay. So you saw with that, it was through the command line interface, and it was as if I had clicked on Mac, as if I had clicked this window, this the Finder, or I want to explore my files. Yes. Sure. Actually, I'm gonna need to do something for that. Is this better? Better? Cool. Okay. So was everyone able to open up a window like this from their command line? Cool. Now, if you take a look, this window says that I'm on my home folder. That's what this is called. And it says oftentimes is your name, right? Now the home folder is saying me that I have all these folders inside, right? Either applications, code, core, desktop. Now, in the command line, if I want to see what I have, a command that I can use is ls. ls stands for list. So when I type ls and I hit enter, I should be seeing the same stuff that I see on the left side here. Yeah, applications folder, core, code. Is everyone on the same page here? Cool. So ls is a command that can help us see what we have available to us in terms of folders and files. Cool. That's the first command to have in mind. Now, what happens if actually let's back up a little bit. In the command line, it might seem that we don't know where we are currently, but we actually have some hints. So I said here I'm in the same place through two different interfaces. On the left, we could say this is the graphical user interface. On the right, the command line interface. Right, so the left is saying that I'm in a folder called Alejandro. Yeah. Command line interface. Right, so the left is telling me that I'm in a folder called Alejandro, but the right side doesn't tell me anything. So we have another command that is pwd, which stands for print working directory. Basically, show me where I am currently. So once I hit enter, I can see that I'm in a place called /users/Alejandro. Can everyone see where they currently are? Um, Cameron, what's the output for this command for you?
Again, /user/mySQL.
Got it. Cool. Okay, so we found how we can see where we are. Now let's navigate a little bit. Let's see, like when we do on the graphical user interface, we could double click on a folder like applications, for instance, and it seems that I have a folder called Chrome Apps. Let's go to another folder that has a little bit more stuff. Let's go to, for instance, desktop. We probably all have stuff in the desktop, right? So I double clicked through the graphical user interface, and now it's showing me all the stuff that I have here. Now, for doing the same thing in the command line interface, what you do is you type cd, which stands for change directory, and then the name of the folder, in this case, desktop. You do cd desktop, and you will see, basically, well, some of you, it should have changed from this squiggly line that you see here to desktop. Somewhere in your terminal, it should say desktop. Actually, I'm gonna change slightly to terminals that you're probably seeing. Cool. Okay, cd desktop. Now list what you have on your desktop. What's the command for listing what you have? ls. Okay. Do I see the same thing? Okay, I have. Let's do this by name. I have a folder called trash, screenshot, curriculum. Do you see everything you see on your desktop on the terminal? Oh, if you have any questions at any point, just feel free to ask. If you don't see anything, it might be that you don't have anything on your desktop. But we're gonna see how we can create stuff on our desktop and create new files. Okay. CD with CD we can navigate. Okay. Is everyone with me? Cool. Now, let's see how we can create a folder. We could, on the graphical interface, I could do right-click, new folder. I'm gonna call these new. Now let's do the same from the command line. In the command line, we have a command called Mkdir or Mkdir, dir, which stands for make directory. All these commands have somewhat of a meaning, and the name tries to connect to that. So that's good for us to remember. So I'm gonna do Mkdir, and then next to it, I need to put the name of the folder that I'm gonna create. In this case, I'm gonna create a folder called new2, and then I'm gonna hit enter. Right? Now, on the left side, you should have seen the new2 pop up. Did everyone see that? Cool. Now let's list the content again. Let's see, just to make sure. Cool, we have a folder down that it says new there. Oh, some of you might be seeing this on only black. Some of you might have colors. We can, if you're interested in getting the colors, come to talk to me after the lesson is over. You don't, yeah. That's a great question. Stephanie, right? I actually created two, but that's a great point. Stephanie had a great point, which is if you try to create a folder called Mkdir new folder, it creates two. So Actually, in this case, it failed because of I have a new thing called. Okay, if I try to create a folder called new folder, and I do it just like this, it's gonna create two. The reason for that is because we're actually asking Mkdir to create a folder called new and another folder called folder. If we want to do this, if we want to have a folder with spaces in it, we have to do something special, which is Mkdir new / space folder. This is because a space in the command line has a special meaning. And we have to, it's called escaping. We have to escape that special meaning, and we do that with a /. Now, if I hit enter, it should create a new one, only called new folder.
You said the space has a special meaning.
In the terminal or the command line, space has the meaning of separating one thing from the other. But if we want a folder or a file with a space in it, we have to ask the terminal, ignore this space here with the / because I actually intended to be only one thing. Cool. Okay, so we learned how to create a folder. Now I have two empty folders on my desktop. I only want one. How can we remove one of them? RM, like that. Oh, that didn't work. RM, I want to remove my new folder. Peter? RMDIR. New. What do we think this stands for? Right, remove directory. Now I see it disappear on the left side. Okay. So that's how we can remove folder. Let's remove the new folder. Oh, and this is a good trick to know. If you don't remember the name, something that you could do is rmdir. So now I'm gonna try to remove the new folder, the one that has new folder as a name. I'm gonna type new, and then the next key that I'm gonna press is tab. The tab, and now it auto completes for me. And you can see that even though on the left side it has that space, and here once I auto complete, it puts the / right there. Right, so I'm gonna hit enter. That removed my new folder. Cool. Was everyone able to create a folder and remove it? Right.
Question.
Yep.
Remove -r is the same as.
It's not the same, but it will function with the same goal. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see how we can create a file, because those are the two things that we're gonna be doing a lot: creating folders and files, and we're gonna put JavaScript code in files. We're gonna organize it in folders, and we're gonna run that code. So for creating, actually, let me go back and let's see what this folder. Okay, I'm gonna use this folder. I'm gonna go into it by doing cd folder. If you don't have the folder called folder, create it with Mkdir folder. Now I want everyone to be on the same page, so I'm gonna do pwd to see where we are. So make sure you are in desktop and in a folder called folder. I'm gonna give you some time for that. Sorry? Yes, go inside the folder. When you type pwd, it should say your name /desktop/folder. Cool. Cool. Okay, Cameron? Yes, you can go backwards. Let's actually dive into that right now. The more accurate language will be going to the parent directory. So actually, let me show you here. So let's see. I'm gonna go back to the parent directory of folder, and just to be clear, the parent directory of folder is another folder called desktop, and we're gonna see that more clearly in here. So we're going to the parent directory, or kind of going back, as Cameron was saying. You do cd dot dot. Now I'm back on desktop. Now if I do ls, I should be seeing the same stuff that I see on the left. Now, let me show you what I mean by kind of the parent directory. I have this special command called tree that what it does, I think some of you don't have it, but just for illustration purposes here, this what is doing is it's going to present the content of the folder in a tree format. Oh, I also have to do. No. Okay, yeah, it's the parent. The parent of the. So we're currently on desktop, right? And you could imagine these are the children of desktop. A file called hello, a folder called folder, and all these you can imagine as if these were children. And this is something that we're actually gonna dive more deeply into once we get into JavaScript, like a tree structure. Yeah, you have a question? No. Okay. So everything in our computer and something called the file system behaves like a tree, and it has a tree organization. So there are relationships between like parent and children, and we can generally speak of that as a tree. Okay, so we could say that. Let me actually show you a little bit more of what that will look like. I'm gonna do tree here. Oh, that's actually quite a lot. That's a long tree, but you can see, for instance, the hierarchy where this is not that good. You could imagine here, for instance, stage. By just looking at this, it tells me that's a folder that has this inside, or these are its children. A file called 0.js, 1.js, index.js. And we could speak of stage, for instance, and web as siblings because they are kind of on the same level, right? And well, if we follow this line long enough, we could find who the parent is. Yeah. So when you think about your family tree, for instance, this is kind of very similar. We could draw that analogy for helping us understand this a little bit better. Okay, so going back to the folder. Yes, come in. That's a good question. Most generally, they are organized alphabetically. So like if I do ls here, or even in the tree, you can see that C comes before the I and P and R. So yeah, they will be alphabetically most of the time. Yes, it is normal. For those of you that want to get the tree command, if you're on Mac, you could do brew install tree. Now, if you're on Linux or Ubuntu, you could do sudo apt-get install tree. It doesn't matter where you do it. And it's just the tree command is mostly for illustration purposes. Okay. Of drawing the analogies between the folder structure and the tree. Just so that, because the file structure can be abstract and kind of difficult to comprehend. So yeah, that's what I mean. The tree will help us understand it a little bit better. Okay, so we learned how to create folders. Now let's create a file. So make sure you are on your inside desktop and inside the folder called folder. Is everyone here?
Yes.
Okay, you can open a new tab with Command T and keep working. If you're on if you're in Ubuntu, I think Command or Control T will still work. If not, explore the menu at the top of the window. Okay. Once we're here, let's list what we have here. Right, we don't have anything inside folder. Let's just double check that. Okay. Now let's create a file. Who knows how to create a file? Who can share with us? Yep, Sandra. Touch, file. Let's see what that does. Okay, that did create a file, and we can see it on the right here. Let's see what that file has. Let's double check. Okay, just an empty file. Seems like I can type something here. And maybe you can save it. Okay. Cool, so we just created a file with touch. Let's create another one. Another file. Let's try to create a photo, which is a file. Right? But photos oftentimes ends in PNG or something like that. Okay, that seems to have created a photo here. Let's try to open it. Oh, the file photo PNG cannot be opened because it's empty. Right? So we saw that with touch we created an empty file. I put that inside, and we can create any kind of file with it. But we saw that if we create a photo, the photo is empty, it's not going to show anything. It's going to be the same thing. Yep. Okay. What do you mean by nothing is popping up?
So I know it's supposed to. I'm assuming that once I put like so what I was doing, I put touch file in the terminal, and I was expecting a new
File to pop up.
up.
Are you on the left side? Are you in the folder or folder? Okay. What happens if you do ls? So let's do an exercise. Create create two files, one with your first name and another one with your last name. In my case, that will be something like touch. Yep. Let me see if JR can help. Okay, let's give it some time so that we're on the same page. Yeah, because when I don't do the space, like in this case, I'm asking the computer to create two files, one Alejandro and another one Franco. If I want the name to have a space in it, I have to include the backslash like that. You can see that now it created this one. Yeah, this slash at the end saying the space that is coming after me, I actually want it in the file name or in the folder name. Yeah. Yep. What happens if you put the name of the first folder slash the name of the other folder inside of it? Okay, we're gonna have some exercises for you to practice. So let me just get through the kind of list of commands, and then in those exercises, that's where we're actually gonna get to practice and solidify that knowledge. Okay, so you're in a folder, whole folder, and you have created some files. Now, how do we remove a file? There is another command called rm, which is just to remove a file. So in here, I'm gonna remove the file that has my name. Right, now it's gone. I do ls again, completely gone. Okay. Now, what happens if, let's create a folder inside here. Mkdir homework. Now there is a folder within my folder. And what happens if I want to create a folder and at the same time create a file? This is something that we cannot do through the GUI or the graphical user interface, which is kind of do two things at the same time or kind of at the same time. But we can do in terminal. And that's some of the advantages that the terminal and the command line interface gives us. It gives us more power to do more stuff. So for creating another folder and creating a file, I'm gonna do first create the folder with Mkdir. Let's call it hello, and then I'm gonna do 2 ampersands and. After that, I want to create a file called, let's see, program.js. Now, if I hit enter, I should see the 2 things that I created, hello, and then a file called program.js, right? So this is all to say that you could do multiple things by using 2 ampersands and the name of the next command and anything that takes to do. This is something that I cannot do here because I will have to create a folder first and then create a file, which I cannot even do from here. Maybe if I do here. Yeah, you can see that the graphical user interface has some limitations, and what we wanna do is get as much potential as we can get from the machine. Okay, so that's that. Let's learn how to. What if we want to remove a bunch of stuff at the same time? How would we do that in the graphical user interface? Let's say I want to remove everything within this folder. How could I do it through the graphical user interface? Camille? But from, like, let's say we're in the graphical user interface. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, like selecting them. Right click. Trash, move to trash. Right. That was a lot of work, right? I want to do that faster. So let's put those back. We could do the same thing with, we're being in the folder. We could do rm star. And star means, or to be more precise, let's just do star for now. I'm going to do that and hit enter. And then your terminal might ask for confirmation. Mine is doing that. Maybe yours doesn't do that. Here is saying, are you sure you want to remove all that? And then I'm going to say yes. Right, it removed all the files, but it failed to remove the folders, right? And is everyone here with me? Do you have the folders remaining, but the files are gone? Okay, actually, a side note is these files were removed not to the trash. They are removed forever. So you want to be careful with the rm command because you cannot get them back. Yeah? It just automatically did that. You just want to be safe. We can talk about that after it. Okay. So we learned with this that rm removes files, but it doesn't remove folders. We could do rm remove dir, which for each one. But let's say, right, I could do this. I remove the 2 files, but that's still a lot of work. I would like to do it with just one. So let me just create a bunch of files again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then maybe a directory. And I want to remove all this. So it turns out that rm has a special option. Anything that you put on after a dash is called an option. So if I pass in rm and I say option r, and then I pass star, that's going to remove everything. Also, maybe I forgot to mention that star means everything in the current folder. Basically, it's also called a wildcard. anything kind of fits the star, basically. Now let's hit enter here. Mine is asking me to confirm, and then we are back to a clean slate. Okay, one last thing that I want to mention before we move on to the exercises is you have a cheat sheet on your calendar, and in our repo, you will find it that has like the name of the commands and what they do. But in case at some point you forget, something that you could do is there's this other special command called man, which stands for manual pages. Let's say I forgot what ls does, so I could do man ls, and then it's going to show me the manual page for ls. And here, the main thing that we kind of care about is kind of remembering what it does. And in this case, it says list directory content, right? Now, this is called a manual page, and to get out of it, if you try to do escape, your computer is going to yell at you. You can do that with Q. Just press Q, and then you should be back out. Okay. So let's try to do man Mkdir. Boom! It tells me what it does. Make a directory. Also, you could always also just Google it. Mkdir command. The Mkdir command in Unix, is used to make a new directory. Oh, so I just want to give you some tools that, if in case you forget, you could get back to seeing the definition and what the command is good for. Okay, now all of you, if you go to your calendar and you step over the lesson, you have the command line cheat sheet. In case you want to review that quickly, again, this lists the commands, what they do, and we also have, now we're going to move on to the problem sets. So click on here, and you will see this. This is called a GitHub repository, and this is where we keep our lessons material, basically. Now, I want you to, in peers, we're just going to do the exercises of problem set number 1. So grab a peer and go through this. Once you're completed with that, you can move on to the problem number 2. And me and JR are going to be floating around with any questions that you might have. So feel free to reach out. Now, could you refresh that page? Okay, how did those exercises feel? Peter? What's up? Okay. Do ls-a. Do you remember? That's, I think that's because when you have this view, like when you can move stuff like that, that creates a hidden file. That's the hidden file that .ds store. Okay, let's come back together. for the second exercise or the second problem set, I'm gonna have to leave that to you as homework. So we have problem 1, problem 2, and then try to get problem P set number 2 as homework, which still oh, actually, never mind on this one because we have to explain what clone and downloading means in this context. Okay, so as an exercise that you could do at home, if you didn't do the second problem, do that one. Otherwise, if you did do that, create folders and files that tell your favorite poem or written passage. What do I mean by that? Let's say I'm here. I have nothing. I'm gonna create a folder called, what's my favorite quote? Okay, this is my favorite quote, for instance. Name. So that's created a file. Must be. I'm gonna create a folder with a space. After that, I'm gonna create maybe another folder. After that, I'm gonna create a file. And now I'm gonna create a folder with a really long name. So as we can see here, I created all these structures, and this is one of my favorite quotes from Star Wars that says, well, it's unfortunate that actually, let's put it in order. You can see what I was saying before. This is order in alphabetical order, but that's the wrong order. So I'm gonna add numbers so that they appear in the right order. Right, and really quickly, something that we forgot to mention, how to rename a file. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna rename the first word of my favorite quote, which is named. And we do that with the command called mv. And mv stands for move. And we are actually, what we're doing is moving this file called name to a different name that is going to be one named, so that when I do a less, one name appears at the beginning. So I'm going to do the rest that for the rest, and then you're going to read my favorite quote. Now if I do a less, I'm gonna do. Now if we go by number, it says name must be your fears. Before banish them, you can. So my challenge to you is on your free time, find your favorite quote or poem passage and write it down like that. That when you do a less, you can read it. And then we're gonna be sharing some of those in the next class. Cool. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break.
So the homework is problem number 2 and
Correct. Let's take a 5-minute break and be here to be ready for the next section. Okay. So some of you pointed out that for the second problem set, no, for the first problem set, oh, sorry. Oh. So I was saying, some of you pointed out that we don't know how to do this stuff, right? Open the file in a text editor. So some of you have installed Atom as your text editor, and a text editor is just somewhere where you can type text. Like when I do something like, what am I doing? You can go to the terminal. Let's see, let's create a file here. Touch file. Open. Here. Right, so this is a text editor. I can type text here. Hello world. Right? But some of you have installed Atom, which is another text editor, and some of you might have installed Visual Studio Code. So for opening a file from your terminal, if you're doing Atom, so I don't have Atom, so if I do Atom file, it's going to fail. But I do have Visual Studio Code, so I'm going to do code file. And that will open up the file for me with the stuff that I said before. And here I can add another phrase. Okay. So for those of you that have installed Atom and you still do Atom file and it doesn't work, we're gonna need to Google that. That's something that we do a lot as software engineers. We Google a lot of stuff, and we don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. So let's try to see install Atom command line. Okay, let's do Mac. Actually, let's do Atom Mac. Okay, so I see this answer. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, Stack Overflow is one of the websites that we're going to be spending a lot of time in. Once we have programming questions, Stack Overflow is a good resource for that. So here there's somebody that's trying to open up Atom, and it's saying, I have the Atom editor, and I was wondering how you can open a file or folder from terminal in Atom. I'm using Mac. I'm looking for a ways to do this. It seems that they were having the same problem that we had. And then this is the answer. It has the green check mark, which means it was accepted by the person who asked this question. So that must be the right answer. So it says when Atom installs, it automatically creates a symlink in this folder. Now that we learned about folders /user/token/bin. However, in case it hasn't, you can create it yourself on your Mac. So those of you that have Atom, copy and paste this line. I'm going to share it on Slack. That will allow you to do something like Atom file, and it should show up. Okay. Now for the second part, we have half an hour, and I wanted to give you an introduction to the web as a whole. For that, in the lecture notes, or rather in the lecture event in your Canvas calendar, I attach this other link, which is a brief history of JavaScript and its capabilities. Cool. So we're kind of switching gears a little bit here from the command line onto more of what we're going to do, which is the web as a whole. So this is kind of general culture. You don't have to. Nobody's going to ask you when JavaScript was invented, or at least Nobody has asked me that, but it's just good to know. JavaScript was invented in 1995 by a guy called Brendan Eich. Basically, he was working at Netscape, and they were building a web browser in 1995. And you can imagine that at that point in time, there were not a lot of navigators for surfing the web, basically. The web was invented in 1991. So this was really the beginning of the movement. Now, the bosses of Brendan Eich were trying to compete with Microsoft Internet Explorer. And they wanted to be able to compete. What they wanted to do is create a web that was more interactive. At the time, we're going to see some examples. The web was really like very plain. It was just information and then maybe some photos. What they asked Brendan Eich to do was to develop a prototype that could complement the Java programming language. So at the time, if you wanted to do like play music or play a video in the web, you needed another programming language installed on your computer to be able to do that. That was called Java. So if a website had any special functionality, you'll need to download a plugin to be able to interact with that extra functionality. So again, Brendan Eich was tasked with creating a prototype that could complement that. And spoiler alert, it almost replaced completely Java. And now we don't need to install anything else on our computers, or at least in the browser, to have JavaScript functionality on it. Cool. So let me show you CNN of today, for instance. Let's go here. And I want you to kind of tell me what are the components that you see on this website. If we were to, a website is usually built of smaller pieces. What are some of those pieces that we see in the CNN? Say that again?
The menu bar that shows the directory.
Nice. Yes, we see this top menu. It's often called the menu bar is good, or navigation bar that allows you to navigate to different sections. Somebody else? Joseph? Okay, the logo, that could be, that's kind of part of the navigation menu. Peter? A list of different articles, right? And this is kind of makes sense for a newspaper or a news outlet, right? That this is kind of the format, a photo and maybe some lists to it. Let's see what else can we see around here. Anything else that stands out to you? Cam? Reactive? What do you mean by that? Okay. That's correct. That's something that we're actually going to learn how to do. If I could show you here that if I can simulate being in a phone, and the website should adapt to that. Let's see if I can get rid of this. So this will be as this website will look like if I was on a Galaxy, for instance. Okay, cool. So let me show you what CNN looked like back in the day. Right? What are some of the differences that we know? Okay, yeah. Anything else? Right, all the articles are like in a list. You only see the title. And it's not very attractive in general, right? It doesn't give you the sense that this is a news outlet. Right, so cool, let's look at another example. Let's look at a web store. Now let's look at the past first. What do we see here? Right. This is, let's say I want to buy, I don't even know what to buy because everything is like so disorganized. This looks cool. Let's click on this. Oh. On top of that is broken.
That was not intended.
Let's see. Maybe I want this bike to come to work. Okay. I think, did I click the wrong thing? Right, it's showing me this, so it's kind of really hard to navigate, right? Like I don't, like the photos are all disorganized. All right, now let's look at, this website is not running any JavaScript because if it was, it will look a little bit better. And it will not only look better, but like at least maybe have gallery functionality or something. Okay, now let's go to a web store that we're all familiar with, Amazon. What are some of the differences that we see right away? More organized, okay. Images, okay. Say that again. Options. Yeah, options to sort. Did the other one have an option to search? We couldn't tell, right? I think it did. Oh, there it is. Right? So hopefully we'll build websites that are more like Amazon. Now, Amazon has, this is something that the other website didn't have, for instance, and that I briefly mentioned. Let's say I'm interested in this computer. Right, it shows me the computer, shows me what it is about, it shows me the price. I didn't even see the price on the other place. And more importantly, this is like extra functionality that is nice if you want to see in more detail what you're actually going to buy. The other website didn't have this. On top of that, you have this kind of gallery that you could swap photos in and see different photos in an organized way. In the other one, it was all over the place, right? Really hard to navigate. Okay, now that I kind of show you the past and the present, I want to show you some of the apps that my classmates I pursued when I was a fellow like you built. The first one I want to show you is Elevate. Elevate is a website that is supposed to help you keep your job search more organized. And it does that by allowing you to log in the jobs that you have applied to, interviews you have had with certain jobs, maybe even keep track of the contact that you spoke to in your interview. So this was actually a capstone project, one of my classmates. Let's try to log in. Let's see a little bit what it is about here. So we see this is my weekly activity. I can have this nice graph here that it says that I logged one application. Let's see what it says here. Rejected 0. Okay, it's kind of the same information. Here we can see a list of places that I have applied to. I applied to Tesla. I'm awaiting on a response. They haven't gotten back to me. I applied to Pursuit. I got that. I applied to Pursuit as another role, and I applied to Lyft. So this is a website that is interactive. You can see, for instance, those kind of animations that make my user experience a little bit better. It even has a leaderboard to see who, as you apply to jobs, you'll earn points, you'll earn badges, and you'll rank up in the leaderboard. So I could, for instance, go to my profile. I can see my progress to unlock to the next level. It seems like I'm missing about 500 points. I can see badges I have earned. I have my first rejection. I remember that. My first job logged, and so on. So this is one of those examples of web applications that you will be able to build as your capstone project, and in general for yourself or for a need that you want to fill, and you see that an app could be good for that. Another example is this game that another one of my classmates built. Again, it's all in the web, and it's pretty fun. So you could actually, oh, that's kind of loud. Sorry, that's kind of loud, but let's just see. I can control the spaceship, and then I can shoot at the stars. Okay. So this is some of these projects that we have built here, and now I want to show you what else, because your journey as web developers starts here, but it was probably never going to end. And some of the possibilities that you have are this. This is an example that Genesis, the car maker, introduced in their website for people who want to build their own car. And this, again, is all possible thanks to JavaScript. So I can drag and drop, not drag and drop, just drag to change the angle. And again, this is JavaScript with 3D technology that you can learn after Pursuit. We're not going to teach you this because it will be, we just want you to get the fundamentals. But from here, you can just take it whatever you want. So you can see you can have a 3D full experience in the browser. Now, I want you to explore this website. So go on Canvas, locate this lesson. Also, check out this other example, again, from Google Experiment. And I want you to specifically go to the AWWW awards and find 3 websites that caught your attention, and then after that, you're gonna tell them. We're gonna be sharing them so that we can put them here and see what caught your attention from these websites. So again, go on awards and then pick 3 websites. Explore. I'm gonna give you around 7 minutes for that. Then pick 3 websites that really attracted you, and then we're gonna be looking at some of those.
And the cool thing about the award website is that eventually you have to work on your portfolio website. You're going to show it to your employers or potential recruiters. And I actually get a lot of inspiration from the websites that they do metrics of like how does it look like throughout a plan and all that. And so just like look through that even on your free time, and yeah, just use them as inspiration. Remember it.
Yep.
So the one of the assignment, right, is
Mhm.
asking the use open the atom
Mhm.
and adding the console log and other stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Can you even do that on the like on the command line? This one.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying earlier. If they have Atom, they'll need to have it installed
Right.
and then run this command on the terminal. Once they do that, then they can get that step. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay. So just put that into the commands.
Yeah. This is so that Atom can be called from here.
But then again, so when you the question is asking basically, so how would you do that though? Like how would you add this inside Atom or from your
Oh, well, no, in my case, for instance, will be code.
right?
And then here I'm going to type that.
So you would type and paste inside the editor.
I'm going to type here what the console log.
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
Okay.
And not really edit any file.
Okay, who would like to share what they found? Any interesting picks? Douglas?
I thought it was really neat. Video player that has an massive overlay
Okay.
over a video, like a plain video, that they have text, but it's like a video.
Do you have the name so I can look it up here and everyone can see?
Fine.
Redefine?
Dot, I have to spell it.
This
Oh,
one?
there it is.
This one, the red one?
Yep.
Cool, let's see. And then start. Wait, you said this is a radio player, right? This is pretty cool. So when I scroll, a new kind of card comes in. And it shows me here where I am. I'm currently in People Behind Red Velvet. And I can scroll here. Cool. Again, these are all some of the possibilities that the web offers. Thank you, Douglas, for that. Anybody else? Cameron? Okay.
This site's weird. It's kind of cool. It's like the science graphic game that's constantly working. I think it's like a portfolio or something.
But you said you put it on Slack? Cool.
When you scroll down the site, it's kind of parts of something.
Oh, wow. Kind of making me dizzy.
Scrolling down, it turns into I don't really understand, but like it makes me French and Japanese or something.
Click here to go. Oh.
I don't know what he did.
I don't know if it's a game. I think it's just, yeah. Yeah, cool. So this is a good example of how you can show off your skills, basically. Cool. Somebody in the back had one. Yeah, you. Oh, wait. Wait, you put it on Slack too? Yeah, could you put it on Slack? The link? Cool. See what this one is about. Oh wow. This this particle seems to be following the light somehow. Oh. Oh, it's taking me somewhere else. It almost makes you feel in space with that music and like this feeling. What was the most? Why did you like this one? What was the thing that kind of caught your eye? Well, the entire thing is pretty amazing. Look, there's wow, this is pretty cool. Cool. So thank you all for sharing. Um, with that note, I just wanted to show you again what is possible with the web. We're gonna be really excited to see what you build. This is all the power that some people have already exploited, and you can too. So yeah, that concludes our session. One last favor that I have to ask is I'm gonna hand out this exit tickets as well as these are on paper. So please fill them out before you leave, and you can hand them to me or JR. And there's also two digital ones that are on Canvas. Here is one is this one, what is possible in the web. This one is about, we just want to hear from you what you're excited about building in the web. And maybe, yeah, what are you excited about in web development? And maybe what you can, maybe some ideas that you have already for building stuff. That one's kind of open format. So find it on, again, on Canvas in the calendar, what is possible in the web. And the other one is the command line exit ticket. This one, try to do it without looking at the cheat sheet or documentation. Just with whatever you remember from today's lesson. Try to fill that one with just what you remember. Cool. So I'm gonna hand this out. I'm gonna just do half here. And that's it. Thank you very much. The homework will be exercise number 2 and the favorite quote or poem passage. So the exit tickets, that one we need right now. The other one, if you could do it before you leave, that's the best way. Yeah.
I got a little like circle one. Someone handed that to me already.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I think maybe find where it's going. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Okay, let me see where. Do we have any empty physical exit tickets? Cool. Oh, thank you, Chris. So, thank you. It's optional.
It's optional. Okay. I did all my exit tickets.
Cool. Thank you. Yep, that's correct.
Yes.
Somebody else?
So you talked about adding colors
That's true.
to the terminal.
Mhm.
Is that something we can do quick, or is that something we should do on another day?
Yeah, that's something that might take some
Okay,
time. Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
He was trying to help me out with this thing, but
Okay. Did you receive an email
yeah,
that has an invitation to Slack?
yeah. I'm in the uncomfortable course,
Okay.
so it doesn't show the channel.
Okay. I'll be with you in a few minutes.
Well, he's over here.
Okay. Cool.
Is somebody talking on my laptop?
Sure. So yeah, I think for that, then we're gonna have to go with. Did I send you? I think I did. I'm gonna send you these instructions. That will allow us to do. Wait, what? You have Windows 10, right? There is a way I found out in which we can run Linux, the Linux terminal, inside Windows, and that is something called the Windows subsystem Linux. And I'm gonna send you a link with some steps that you can follow, and then let me know over Slack if you accomplish it. Yeah. Peter? Mm-hmm.
So our homework is this,
Yeah.
or is so it's not this.
No, it's not this since we don't
We didn't cover any of this.
go-
the clone, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so just this one here,
and
the problems.
and then your favorite quote.
Right, that, and then put it in order, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. So the homework is doing the second part in the phone. And
Yeah, that's correct. And the climb report with the folders and files.
Put what? Put it in
Folders
order,
and
right?
files.
Yeah.
Tell him that, tell him your name. Tell him that you're
Hi, Jonathan. Did you manage to get? Oh, you were running Linux on the USB. Did you look at? You can look at this, which will. Thank you. It turns out that you can run Linux directly on Windows, and it's not even a virtual machine. So I'm gonna send you this link. You can look at it. Yeah, so I think.
My thing right now is that I installed the Linux boot drive with my Windows boot drive by accident today, so I got
Okay. So you have to restore the.
I just have one question about the work. Basically, we're doing all of this in the terminal, and
correct.
of course, it shows us step by step, so we'll be able to send that to you.
Right. You're not gonna send them. We're gonna share some of those tomorrow here.
Okay, so basically, we're creating a folder inside the folder is the file of the code.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I think it should be Alejo.
Alejo Alejandro, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to call you Alejandro while saying Alejo at the same time. It's
No worries.
my brain's crashing.
I actually forgot your name too.
Shayna.
Shayna?
Yeah.
All right.
Shay is easier.
Shay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right.
Guys,
Thank you.
have a great day.
Super question.
Yep.
Are the words directory and folder interchangeable, or is
That's correct.
okay? You know, if there was one was means one
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah, he told me to just message Charlie
Okay.
about the China situation. I'll just wait for his response.
Okay.
Alright, if you fill out your survey, please give them to me.
Can you show me that? Actually, what's your username?
I think it's Michael. Oh, I'm not sure.
Click on profile and account.
More surveys?
The Empire. I think I just invited you.
Okay, now
So you're there. Okay, now you're. I think you're good now.
got it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. And then, so what were we supposed to do for the homework? The solve problem 2?
Yeah, which I copied and pasted here.
Are we supposed to save it anywhere?
Just do it in somewhere in your laptop for now, in any folder, and then we're gonna share some of those tomorrow.
Okay. And then the thing about the quiz, we just we're just taking these two. We're responding to these.
Yeah, responding to those two.
To this one and
You click on
right
click on the and the other one you click on the title, like that one. Click on the title.
oh, that's, and then take the quiz for both of them.
Correct.
And when is that due by?
I think tonight.
Oh, 15 minutes? So it's 10:15.
10:15. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna change them to midnight. Okay.
Yeah, so that's a little bit like, yeah, take a second. Yeah. Any more surveys?
So long. A loaner from Destiny.
Okay.
So it's like I wasn't able to like pull up like that side folder you had and like have it show up in the thing.
Okay, that's true. That's true. That was a limitation that I didn't foresee that you were gonna have.
So like I don't. It was just like extra steps, and I was like, okay, like I'm kind of missing the lessons because I'm like typing in how do you do this on this thing. So
On Google.
I'm
Okay.
thinking that would just be easier if I have the.
Okay. Cool. Let me know. You're welcome. Yeah.
The assignment with your quote, what is,
Mhm.
so why do you want us to number it so it can come out in order?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. So, I felt, I know, I didn't feel that well about it.
The lesson?
Yeah.
Why? What do you think was what do you think was wrong?
I felt like very shaky.
Shaking?
Yeah, in a
Like
sense.
what?
Maybe in these instructions.
Ah.
That's
Fine.
That's true. I think, but shouldn't this have been after the professional skills workshop?
Huh?
This feedback,
Right.
was it for the entire day or for only the professional skills workshop?
No, I think people basically wrote down. Yeah. Yeah, like people are saying like coding and things like that. Like there were a lot of like terminals and stuff. So I think it's basically based on the feedback on the class and stuff like that. But I do think that we gotta use a microphone. Like
Okay.
might be hard to hear. I was actually kind of hard to hear on the bed when I was sitting.
Okay. Thank you.
Either like use a mic or like.
No, we got a mic. We got this thing, but I didn't have time to set it up before. It's a wireless mic.
Like a lapel mic kind of thing? Do you wear it?
Yeah. It's pretty
Oh, yes. The lapel mic is so much better. Yeah.
What's it called?
Lapel mic.
Oh. Yeah. Didn't know that was the name.
Yeah, that's I was kind of thinking about like asking Rina to get that, but since we have it.
Yeah, Rina actually got this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
It's up there.
So I did the like change it so it's in the correct order.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change it in here though.
That's also that I think it has to do with like on the GUI side, right? It has to do with like how the Mac is sorting something here to do.
Oh, okay.
Like this.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Like
Oh,
this.
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, would there be a way to do it if you didn't want it to have like numbers in the beginning?
What do you mean?
Like if you had all these files and you wanted it to read out in a certain order,
Yeah.
but you didn't want it to be called 1_remember. You just wanted to put it in that order.
I think we did it on number underscore because if you don't do it right, that means it's gonna be alphabet. So it's gonna have like
Okay.
it is before like.
But there's no way to do it like a custom order essentially.
Meaning like you want to put maybe like this number, maybe like number 4 in front of 2 and 5.
I just mean like if you didn't number it, right? Like if I got rid of all these numbers and underscores,
Yeah.
and I still wanted it to be in that order.
Then it probably what you can do is actually you can sort it by, for example, like a date.
Okay.
Modify it.
You would just change it by how you date.
Yeah, like
Okay.
how the order of the creating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
First one created first, it's gonna come first, and then so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's all.
Thanks a lot. See you guys
Really,
tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
Also, like, was it good enough? Like, you think Alejandro needed to get like louder?
Well, I was sitting right there, so I could hear him. Maybe I would feel it
We're
from the
gonna
back.
use-
Yeah, you like that song.
It's better, right? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
I can hear you from otherwise. I can see them not here.
Yeah, because I was sitting right there and it was kind of difficult.
And you could hear it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was a good for me, but maybe if you're further back.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, man.
See you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
This works.
Yeah, it's good.
Hello. Okay. What do you think that sounds like?
Let me actually. I say something.
Hey, Jar.
Loud.
Command line. There are some boxes behind you. Did you see the tape? Okay. Now,
Is it good enough?
Yeah. Or it's like I can hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
What about like the flow of the lesson? Was it easy to follow? Was it difficult?
No, it was easy. But I had done the, like you said, to read it, try it.
Right.
Today when I got here, I had done that.
Okay.
So, kind of like, so we're wrong. Even then, I feel like you re-explained it, but I read it.
Okay.
I'll just feel free to try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this your first day's doing this?
Pretty much.
It doesn't seem like it's your first day, so.
Well, because we were sitting with the other side, so we kind of know like how we both.
Right.
This. Oh, close the window. Also, let's start this dongle without like
Without.
not giving to anybody.
Okay.
So many USB-C.
That's for like the iOS people.
Like,
Sure. Yeah.
Hi. Hi, y'all. Just very briefly.
I mean, it's
This is your safe.
as old as you want.
It's great. How was it, guys?
It's good.
People gave like really good feedback, so.
Really? All of
Um,
this?
Yeah.
I'll enter it this time.
The attendance is done, so it's taken care already.
Okay. What is this I hear about fellows needing laptops? Who are they?
So we got a couple of folks. So I told one of them to like select you. So the person's gonna like select you. They can use the logo now. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's great.
I think I'm a little bit worried about that in the sense that I kind of feel that Pursuit is kind of resistant to give laptops, especially like right after. And I also kind of at the same time I feel a little bit guilty because I know that we can work with some of those laptops, but it's just also my thought of the fellows are gonna have to struggle a little bit more, and I kind of just want to save them as much as possible of that unnecessary struggle.
And I think that's all right. I slacked Sarah Hopkins. Hallie's a little bit more adamant, so I'm gonna go with Sarah. She's the one that makes the orders anyway. She's the lot of situations for us. Tomorrow at 1:30, I'll be meeting with Sarah.
Okay.
If you can join us.
Okay.
I'll add you to the calendar invite so then you can have your say too. She said she has questions, and my goal going into that meeting is to come out with 12 laptops. Because honestly, I figure all the Windows users plus the 3 other fellows, right? That's 10, and then there's 2 other Pursuit fellows that approached me about getting laptops.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I
so
want to come out with 12.
but not all Windows users need or want another laptop. I
Yes,
know.
but it's still my goal to have those laptops and to say to the fellows, please take this. I don't want you coming back to me in 6 months saying that you need a laptop. And at that point in time, I have no good argument.
Okay.
Now that we're in day 2, I have a great argument.
Okay.
Yeah, because some of the fellows like could not follow the lesson along because like the Windows, like whatever we're typing on the screen, like it's not the same thing for the Windows. Like I have the expertise in Windows, like I'll only coded the Mac, so I can really like help that. So I have a problem.
So maybe you should be in that meeting to say those kinds of things
Is it
too.
1:30?
At 1:30, yes.
I can be there.
I'll add you, both of you, to that.
Alright,
cool.
This is, by the way, this is our stand-up meeting. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
Other than that, no, like me and Alejandro, we talk about like how sound was kind of
How was it?
issue. It was kind of like a lull. So like people that are sitting in the back there, like if Alejandro was not using microphone, it was kind of hard to hear. So we're gonna use like a microphone for tomorrow's lesson. So it's kind of taken care of already.
This classroom is only ours for just a few short.
Okay.
Right, maybe 1 or 2 months.
Okay.
By the end of the summer, we should do classroom 2.
Okay, so much better. Yeah, so much
Okay,
better.
so this is just a temporary situation.
Okay.
Once, yeah. So once the 5.0 fellows leave, we get to take over the classrooms.
Okay.
So that 6.3 and 4
Let's
come
go.
in here.
Okay. Makes sense.
This is why I wanted Roosevelt Island, but at the same time, I get it why they made a station.
Roosevelt Island is further away from my house. I don't like it.